Hello teachers! This video is about learning objectives. Within the QTS England, Qualified Teacher Status England framework, setting expectations, or learning objectives in this instance, features as Standard 1, teaching skill that belongs to Standard 1. It's also within our Standard 1 of our teaching standards within the music department. This video is used in conjunction with the booklet that every teacher was passed on how to write learning objectives. So here you've got a nice picture of Mr. Benjamin Bloom. He comes from the behavioralist school of thought in terms of learning theory. In his mind, learning has to involve some kind of change of behavior, hence why he's belonging to the behavioralist school of thought. This diagram demonstrates the learning theory continuum, where you've got behaviorism on the left, which came first, followed by cognitivism and constructivism, also social constructivism, which came some years later. Now, Benjamin Bloom is behaviorism, so in his mind, learning only involves changes of behavior, which is where learning objectives come into play. In 1956, Bloom created several diagrams, taxonomies, whatever you want to call them, which basically has 6 stages of comprehension. It will look like the triangular shape, or sometimes this circular shape, or even other shapes, but essentially it's all the same thing. It's the 6 stages of comprehension, or the 6 stages of understanding that a student naturally progresses through. Now the good news is that PERI teachers primarily operate mainly within 2 of the 6 domains, which makes writing learning objectives a lot easier. So, when writing a learning objective, you need to remember that you're trying to instigate a change in behavior, a noticeable change in behavior, i.e. something they can do at the end of the lesson which they couldn't do before they came. So this then involves an element of measurement. That's where the behaviorism thing comes into play. So your learning objective needs to be a very brief, clear, specific statement about what they will be able to do at the end of a lesson as a result of activities. This really helps to focus your teaching, to have goals, and it enables the essential element of measurement at the end of a lesson. One thing to bear in mind is that activities should not be present in a learning objective. For example, to learn bar 24 to 32. This is clearly an activity and not an objective. So a better way to go about it would be to look at what's in those bars, put the concepts in, then write your objective with the action verb. For example, to explore syncopation and right-hand 3-note chords. Makes a lot more sense. We don't want carrot and stick learners. We don't want them to be spoon-fed through every element of everything they do. They will not be successful in anything. They won't be successful in life. We want learners who can take a concept and apply it in other styles of music, apply it in other areas of music and things they're learning, apply these concepts when they sight read. When they sight read, they shouldn't see notes, they should see concepts which they've already mastered. I recall a student many years ago, a very high level LT diploma student, who, when I asked him about the Alberti bass, played on the tonic in his left hand of a very complicated Mozart piece he was playing, he didn't actually know what it was. He didn't know he was playing basically a broken chord in the tonic key, which I found startling. Clearly this student had never been taught music or the concepts of music, and we really must avoid producing students who learn and play in this way. Within your pack, you can see this particular example here, which gives you lots of action verbs for each domain, each area of learning, each domain. As we are practical PERI teachers, we're only really operating in the kind of performance domain, so we're either looking at a concept for the first time, or we've either practiced that concept and are refining it this lesson. In that context of that area of learning at that specific time, the action verb will match accordingly. You may see them displayed like this in other scenarios, but it's all essentially the same things. They're all Bloom's action verbs across the 6 domains. Here's a very nice pretty one. So back to writing the learning objectives. When you're writing a learning objective, a few golden rules. Avoid words like understand, as this is an internal mental process. that would probably belong to cognitivism or constructivism, but actually we're operating in behaviorism. So internal cognitive processes are no good. We need to see behavioral results. So a learning objective needs to be measured at the end of the lesson. It needs to be not an internal process, but an external thing that can be measured. In avoiding internal words, you want to avoid words like to learn in your learning objective, or to be aware of, or to know. It's essential to understand what you're actually learning, the ingredients of the piece when you write learning objective. You can see these examples here. Heavy syncopation. You've got those 3-note chords I was talking about. Possibly this piece may be a bit more realistic in terms of level. You can see you've got a lot of syncopation. If you look at bar 4 and bar 8, you can see you've got a 3-3-2 configuration of a syncopation, the unequal subdivision of quavers. You've got a tem-tem-ta, tem-tem-ta, classic syncopation. The student needs to learn this concept, not the piece, the concept, and they can apply the concept within many, many other pieces of music. That concept was isolated, syncopation, and is put into your learning objective.